Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I bring to you another date night tutorial, but this time it is with a twist. As Valentine's Day is approaching, a lot of you would be zeroing down on what clothes to wear, what makeup to wear, and even what perfume to wear. For me, Valentine's Day is not just about, a couple or a boyfriend-girlfriend concept. It's more about spending time with the people that you love. It can be your family, your friends, your kids, your spouse, anybody who just makes your life much better and full of love every single day of the year. So being an Indian, a date for me is not just about wearing beautiful dresses. It's also about wearing beautiful kurtas or those sensuous saris. So I thought it's a good idea to do a Indian date night makeup with you guys. Although I would be sharing with you the more westernized version of wearing this makeup, as in makeup that you can just carry with any of the western dresses that you're wearing, and I shall be taking that makeup and converting it into a makeup which is more appropriate, according to me, which is more appropriate for wearing with kurtas or your saris. So without further delay, let's get started with the tutorial. As you can see, I've already primed my eyelids with my Maybelline Fit Me concealer. I switched up the shade of the concealer this time. Rather than using 25, I have used the shade 20. I think this works a little better for me as it has a little bit of yellow undertones to it. I have put a scotch tape from the outside corner of my eye going towards the edge of my brow. Whenever we are doing a smoky eye or an intense eye, it is better we put a scotch tape because it gives you more definition to where your shadows are going to be. So going on with the eyeshadows, I am going to be using the Maybelline Rock Nudes palette. You can use any shades of eyeshadow that you like and you are comfortable in. What I'm going to do is, on a fluffy brush, I'm going to take this shadow first and just set the concealer that I have already put on my eyes. So starting off with the first color of the eyeshadow, I'm going to be taking this shade right here. It's a beautiful purpley brown, not too dark. So I'm going to just dip in my brush here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this color work as a transition color for my eyes, but the only difference being this is going to be on the whole lid area as well. So just taking this color on the lid area as well as till where my transition color would go. I like to put the first color just slightly above my natural crease. As I always say, start with little product at a time and you can gradually keep building up how much color you like. And this particular palette is one of the most pigmented palettes out of all the three nude series palettes from Maybelline. Now as you can see, the shadow is done. What I'm going to do is I'm going to now take a shade darker than this shade that I've already applied, and I'm going to restrict it only to the mobile lid area of my eye. So for that I'm going to be taking this shade right here, another purpley brown but darker than this one. So I'm going to take it on the same brush, and this time I'm going to restrict this color to just the mobile lid of my eye. As you can see, I am not passing the crease of my eye with this color and just blending it with the color that we had already put. Now the next step is I'm going to take a smaller brush than this and go in with even darker shade of the eyeshadow and pack it closer to my lash line and dip it into this last shade here, which is like a purpley black, I would say. So I'm generously dipping in the brush in that color, and this time I'm going to restrict this color close to my lash line and not going even till my natural crease line. As you can see, I'm just packing on the color very close to my lash line. And just blending it ever so slightly. As you can see, it has given a beautiful gradation from dark to light. So packing on your shadows, the lightest first, covering till where you would take the transition color, then packing the darker colors closer and closer to your lash line gives you a smooth transition from dark to light and helps you to achieve that beautifully blended smoky eye look without doing any extra effort. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the lighter color in the palette on to the sponge tip applicator of the brush. This shade right here, I'm going to take it on the sponge tip applicator, and I'm going to now highlight my brow bone. And I'm also going to put this color into the inner corner of the eye. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be taking my Maybelline gel liner, which is like my all-time favorite liner. My eyes tend to be very watery, so as it is a date night makeup, I would not want my makeup to budge at all. So it's a good option to use instead of a kohl. So I would be taking my Maybelline gel liner and putting it as a kohl and tightlining my upper and lower waterline both. I am not going to finish off the lower portion of my eye makeup as I would be doing it after I put on my base and after I do the concealing. Now that I've repeated the same steps on the other eye as well, it is time that we remove the scotch tape. So we are going to do it very gently. Before putting the scotch tape, it's always a good idea that you stick the scotch tape to your hand 2-3 times so that the glue loosens up a little bit, because this is a very tender area and you do not want anything to tug on it. As you can see, putting the scotch tape gives you a very defined kind of a line here and makes it look as if you have winged out a liner. But we do not want such harsh lines to be on our face, so we are just going to blend it ever so slightly. Just with the same brush, I'm just going to just very gently just buff it out so that it is not as harsh as it is seeming right now. So as you can see, the eyeshadow is still very crisp, but the edges are blended out. Now moving on to my base first. I have already, as I said, I have already primed my face with the L'Oreal Base Magique primer today. I am going to be going in with my favorite foundation, which is the Fit Me foundation by Maybelline. I am in the shade 128, which is called Warm Nude. I am just going to dot the foundation all over my face. Concentrating more towards the center of my face. And not forgetting your neck area. And now I would be using the YBP Makeup Perfector today. This is the first time that I'm trying it, so I hope it fares really well, as I have seen great reviews about this Makeup Perfector. I have been using the Beauty Blender for a very long time now, and when I soaked this YBP Makeup Perfector, this turned out way more bigger than the Beauty Blender. So I just soaked it nicely in water and then squished out all the excess water. So this sponge is nice and damp but not wet. So I'm just going to bounce this over my foundation. What I also like to do is I like to just tap with whatever product is left on the Beauty Blender. I just tap my ears so that, you know, there is no distinction between where I've put the foundation on my face and the color of my ears as well. And this is the first time that I'm using the YBP sponge, and I must say it does a pretty good job at blending the foundation. If you guys want me to do a comparative review on the YBP Makeup Perfector, the Pack Beauty Blender and the original Beauty Blender, do let me know in the comment section below. I would love to do that video for you. Now that my foundation is done and looks pretty much flawless, I am going to just quickly go in with the concealer. Again, I'm using my favorite concealer, which is the Fit Me by Maybelline. As I already said, I have switched up my shade from 25 to 20 just because this is more yellow in tone. So just putting in the concealer at the usual places. Whenever we are doing smoky eye, it's very important that any darkness under our eyes is well covered. Otherwise, you're gonna look like you have panda eyes. Going in at the usual spots of my face as well, which is the center of my brows, bridge of my nose, the cupid's bow and the chin area, and just going over very slightly these pimple marks that I have on my face. Again, I'm going to be using the YBP sponge, and this time I'm going to be using the pointy end of the sponge, the Makeup Perfector, and blending out the concealer. Now that the concealing is done, you can see how beautifully it has brightened up my face. Not only has it concealed my under eye dark circles very well, it has also given this beautiful highlight to my face, which we all want. So now setting all this with the Fit Me powder. What I like to do is, I like to take this blush brush by Real Techniques, as it's a very soft and dense brush. I like to powder my face also with the same brush. So just going in with the powder to set all of the makeup that we've already applied. Setting under the eyes especially, because that's the area I tend to crease quite a bit as I have a combination skin. So tapping off the excess and very slightly just dusting the powder on. Mainly concentrating on areas where we have applied the concealer. Now that we've set everything in place, I'm going to finish up the lower eyelids for my eye makeup, and for that I would be following the same principle, as in I would be laying down the lightest color first and then going closer and closer to my lash line with the darker and darker color. I'm going to take this angled brush from Real Techniques starter set, and I would be dipping into the first shade, which is this shade which we had applied till our transition area. So I'm going to just dip into this shade, and then I'm going to just line the whole of my lower lid. And at this point of time, I realized that I have forgotten to put the kajal in the other eye. So I'm quickly going to do that. So yes, now continuing. We are going to take the lighter shade and just pack it nicely under the lower lid. What I'm going to do is, as this is an angled brush, I'm going to keep the tapered side towards the outside corner and join the shadow on the lower lid to the shadow on the upper lid, the line that we had created by using the Scotch tape. What this is going to do is, it's going to extend your eye. It's going to make it more cat eye shaped. Now going in with the same brush, I'm going to dip into a shade darker, which is this shade right here. I'm going to pack this color a little closer to my lash line. Very, very close to my lash line. Not taking it as far down as we put the first color. Now I'm going to be taking an even smaller brush, which is this brush again from the starter kit of Real Techniques, and I'm going to take the darkest color, that is the purplish black color that I had showed you, this color right here, and just smudge out my lower waterline. I'm going to work this color into the roots of my lashes to give it that smoky look. I'm just going to give my lashes a good curl and just coat them with a lot of mascara. With that, I have finished applying the mascara. If you are the kind of girl who loves to wear falsies look amazing with a smoky eye. I personally don't feel very comfortable in falsies, and I do have thicker lashes, so a mascara does the trick for me. I'm quickly going to fill in my eyebrows, as whenever you're doing smoky eye, eyebrows are an integral part of your makeup. They are going to just give life back to your face, and you will see how. Using the ELF kit, this comes with a wax as well as the color. I don't use the wax too much. I'm just going to dip into this color, and it comes with this teeny mini brush of its own, which is like an angled brush like this. So I'm just going to dip this angled brush into the brow powder, and this does have a mirror in it, as you can see. So I'm just going to use the same mirror, and I would be focusing more on the arch of my eyebrow today. Now moving on to contouring. As it's a date night makeup, I love to do contouring. I'm going to be using the Hoola by Benefit. I am not going to make the contour very harsh. I'm going to keep it really nice and blended. Now that I have contoured my face, I'm going to go in with the blush, and today I am using a blush by MAC called Gingerly. This is a great blush for people who are in the medium skin tone range. This works as a beautiful neutral blush, especially when you're doing very dark eyes or very dark lips. This is the perfect blush for you, so I would highly recommend you to get one for yourself. MAC is now available at Nykaa as well, so you need not worry about where you'll find a MAC counter. Now that my face is nice and blushed, I'm going to go in with the highlight. For that, I would be using the Savannah Shimmer Bricks, and this is in the shade 04. I'm going to be taking this a mixture of the white and this champagne gold here. And now I would be going in with one of my favorite lip shades, that is from Chamber, I don't know how to say it. This is the Extreme Wear Transfer Proof Liquid Lipstick. This is in the shade 481, and it's a beautiful neutral pinky brown. You can totally rock a red lip with this eye makeup, but I always like to balance it. If my eyes are deeper, I like to keep the lips neutral. If my lips are darker, I like to keep my eyes neutral. So that's how I am, that's my preference. You can just go ahead, and there are no rules to makeup. You can go ahead with what you like and what you prefer. As it's a date night makeup, I want it to last all night and all through the dancing that we do. So I'm going to take this LA Girl Pro setting spray and give my face a nice spritz. Now I'm going to just take that same YBP Makeup Perfector and ever so slightly, just barely touching my skin, just dab that makeup setting spray into my skin. This would take away any kind of powderiness that would be there on your face. So with that, we finish the makeup look for all your sexy dresses. It's a beautiful look that can be pulled off with all kind of western wear. Now I'm going to show you how to convert this look into the Indian date night makeup look. So for converting this makeup into the Indian date night makeup, there are a few changes that I would be making to the makeup, and the major change is going to be in the eyes. I always feel that India is more about kajal and liners and heavy cold eyes. So that's what we are going to do now. I'm going to be taking the same eyeliner, which is the Maybelline gel eyeliner, and I'm going to be just deepening up all the kohl that I have put in my eyes. Now that I've intensified the kohl in my eyes and just taken it under the lower lash line as well, ever so gently, I am going to give myself a beautiful wing with the same gel liner. I try and avoid using liquid eyeliners as I have very watery eyes, and the inside of my eyeliner just tends to vanish off after some time. So with the same brush, what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow my last lash, the direction that my last lash is going into, and just draw a flick. I'm going to just follow where I can see my lash, the last lash, keeping it in line with where the lower waterline ends. I'm just going to flick it out, and there you can see the perfect wing is created. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to line the whole of my eye and just connect it to this wing. Now that the wing liner is done, what I'm also going to do is just ever so slightly intensify the outer corners of my eye, for which I will be using this small brush from Real Techniques, and I'm going to be dipping it into the darkest shade that we had used, and I'm going to very gently just smoke out the outer corners of my eye. Right over where your wing liner is, I will just intensify this color and just blend that in with the fluffy brush. So with that, our beautiful kohl rimmed Indian eyes are done. I'm going to leave the lipstick as such because I really like this color. I am going to intensify the blush a little bit more because I find that darkening up the eye has just washed out the color on my cheeks. So I'll just touch up the blush a little bit more. And according to me, no Indian look is complete without a bindi. I personally love putting bindi, but I put the really tiny ones. So I'll just quickly get my bindi and put it. And there you go. As you can see, I like to put like 2 dots under my bindi. So with that, we complete the Indian date night makeup look. I have added these beautiful jhumkas for the added effect. These are from a website called Jaipur, and in case you guys are interested, I shall be leaving the link in the description box as well. I hope that you liked both the looks and my take on the Indian date night makeup. If you did like my video, do give it a thumbs up, do share it with your friends, and do subscribe to my channel. It is free for you but means the world to me. So until my next video, bye bye.